This Ventra Pro video is how to install a temperature air sensor. First, we go to System Setup, menu arrow down to press Enter to add a control device. Once here, you will scroll through your list and look for air sensor. Here is an outside air sensor, which this is what you would choose if you wanted to add an outdoor temperature sensor. We continue to scroll, and there is air sensor. So we press Enter. Then we choose the number sensor that this is. The Ventra Pro will hold up to 12 temperature sensors. And in this case, this is our very first temperature sensor, so I'm going to choose number 1, press Enter, and then I choose the zone which this temperature sensor will be programmed to. I only have one zone programmed, so I will leave it on Z1. Press Enter, then I choose the module. You will always choose module 1 unless you have an expansion station that you are programming into your system. Press Enter, and now you choose the channel on the input analog board that the sensor is wired to. In this case, it is wired to channel 7, so I will leave it on channel 7, press Enter, then press Enter to confirm. Now I have added the temperature sensor. To complete setting up your temperature sensor, from the System Setup, you menu arrow to the left once, and then you will set up your sensor calibration and settings. The first thing we choose for temperature sensor 1 is the cable length. It is important to know how much cable or wiring you have run from your controller to your temperature sensor. In this case, it's about 75 feet. So I change it to 75 foot. And this is important because the controller uses the amount of wire run to help configure the temperatures. So to have the more accurate reading as possible, you want to have your cable length as close to exact as you can. Then you menu arrow down. Now you choose your wire gauge that you used. And in this case, we use 24 gauge, so we'll leave it there. Arrow down again. Now you have your temperature offset. Normally you will leave this at 0. The only reason you would not is if you have a temperature sensor that you have proven is not reading quite correct. You can put an adjustment in there, either plus or minus, to help the temperature sensor read the appropriate temperature in the area in which it's at. Menu arrow down again, and now you choose the location of your temperature sensor. You can choose between brood, grow out 1, and grow out 2. In this case, my temperature sensor 1 is in the brood zone, so I will leave it at that. You only will have this to choose from if you're using birds or poultry application. If you have a hog application, you will not have this option. Menu arrow down again, and we tell the controller if this temperature sensor also uses wind speed. And in this case, no, it does not, so we change it to no, press Enter, and we have now set our temperature settings. We now have the number 1 temperature sensor programmed into our Ventra Pro.